Last, the last of 4 movies on the transatlantic flight. I got that way through. It's sad.
I think we're recording. Okay. Today's meeting is called to order. It is Thursday, March 20th. All members present. Okay. Okay, here we go. It's recording now. All right, it's just blipping in and out. Anyway, first item is to review and amend the agenda. I'm going to cancel the executive session.
Okay.
Anything else you could think of? Great. All right. Let's first meet Alicia. Alicia, welcome. We're the trustees. Let's do some introductions for Alicia.
To be here at 4:40. He's prompt.
We thought you might be a little later, so.
Yeah, my programs had to kind of cancel because no one showed up. So.
Are you doing the younger writers?
The
Older writing group. Okay,
no.
good. Okay, I'm Tony. I'm the chair and I've been on the board for maybe 11 years, 8 years, something like that. Good to meet you.
So long she can't remember. We need Marcia's card. That's right. I'm Becky McMahon and I do the secretary part of the board and I think I've 7 years now. I was reelected last year, so this will be my 7th year.
I'm Shona. I'm the student representative. I've been on the board for a little over a year now.
I'm Carol Anderson. I'm the treasurer, and I just got reelected, so I've been on for 5 years, and now I'm starting another 5 years.
Leora Black, I'm vice chair, and I don't know how long it's been, Shelley.
Since before I started here, I've been here 12 years, so.
An oldie but a goodie.
Brent Lederer, my first term, trustee at large.
And I'm Sue Eglinka. I am not on the board. I'm the president of the Friends of the Library.
Oh, great. Nice to meet you. Excellent. So how long have you been on the job?
Started in February, mid-February. So
And your position is?
youth and services librarian.
Okay, and do you have a last name?
Hebo Sherry.
Don't spell for me.
It's TEBEAU-SHERRY.
And did you write the newsletters for the town? Or
Yeah,
did
I
you,
do the newsletters. Yeah, so I may have met some of you, whether through email, because I used to work in the manager's office at the town.
So we meet once a month and you're always welcome. We might ask you to come and tell us something that you're working on or whatever, just to hear from you. And you're always welcome to drop in if you'd like. Great. Thanks. You're welcome to stay, or if you have things to do, please feel free. We don't want to take your time. We know you're busy. Thanks for
I
being here.
might head out, but it was great to meet you
Good
all.
to have you.
Get to put a face to the name. Seeing no public. Next item is to read, amend, and approve the minutes. Was there any feedback on last month's
I
minutes?
don't think so, which means all of you eagle-eyed people missed something. I submitted the draft as February 2024 minutes. I noticed that this today. So
Someone's slipping here.
Carol, you're slipping.
No, she's been taking care of Steve.
Taking care of Steve, is something going on?
Oh, you miss, he got run over by a snowboarder, broke his wrist in 2
Oh,
places.
oh, geez.
I have pictures of the repair.
I'd love to see
I want
it.
to see that.
Okay.
Oh,
I wanted to see Mary's and she couldn't pull it up on her chart and I'm
Oh,
like, you can
geez.
ask me that.
Yes, right. Make that happen.
Share
Yeah,
fascinating.
I wanna see that.
Is that a program? Share your x-rays.
no, an X-ray. I have a picture.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, so just adjusting the year would be the only thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
By Becky.
Does he have to get the plate removed?
I don't think so.
Anyone want to second that?
I will.
Awesome. All in favor.
Stay focused.
Thank you.
I would like to leave it by 6 o'clock.
You got it. Okay, so minutes approved. Treasurer's report.
Let
I
me know.
think elected officers
Oh.
before.
Thank you for noticing that. I have it right in front of me. Election of officers. So every year we review the officer roles, chair, vice chair, secretary, treasurer. Is anyone interested in making a switch this year?
Joking.
Not allowed.
You're allowed to give us 1 year notice if possible, but
And you're
appreciate that.
still not allowed. Not unless you're going off the board. I'm happy to stay with
Okay.
writing for the daily minutes.
Do you have your eye on any officer role at all?
No, happy to serve
Okay,
if need be.
all right. Okay, I'll make a motion to reelect the current slate of officers.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Thank you. Committee appointments. Currently, we have the Personnel Committee. And we have sort of a technology long-range planning committee as needed. My suggestion is that as we need those as needed committees, we can bring that up at a future meeting. And elect those committee members. Does that work for everyone?
Mhm.
So today, if we could talk about the Personnel Committee for the coming year. I think Brent and we were the last years.
Mhm.
Is anyone interested in joining or replacing or leaving off? I'll make a motion to re-elect the Personnel Committee members to another year of service.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
I
Straightforward. Excellent. Thank you for letting me know about that diversion of our agenda. Okay, so then on to Carol's report.
A little bit longer this year, this month, because we finally got the DCI stuff. But, so we start with the M&T bank account, which is, you know, we usually talk about, and we had the two checks go out for the Valley grant, the final amount for the Valley grant. The only thing that changed was we had a general library deposit that I gave to the town in February, and it didn't get recorded in our bank account. So I called and they will record it this year. It was just like an oops. So that 261 should have been in February, but it'll be in March. And then the big news, Ray and the friends are sending us a check for $4,451, which is 20% of their annual.
Congratulations. That's a thank you and
very
congratulations.
well again. And thank you everyone for contributing.
We are proud to. It's a great show of support from the community.
It's wonderful. And I think Maureen said she would drop off the check here tomorrow, so we don't have money in hand, but I think we're good for it. We're good.
Yeah, and I almost have the deposit for it. It's not ready for you, so
Okay.
I'll try to get it all ready so it's coming in.
Yeah, but I probably won't come tomorrow, so.
Oh, no, it's fine, but
I'll
just,
rush through it
okay.
tomorrow. Probably come next week. And so we may have a deposit, that if I get it in before the end of the month, that will also add to our March total. But for now, we're looking at 37,454. And then the Vermont Community Foundation, their full year numbers were released. I think I got it like the day we had our last meeting. So we couldn't turn it that quickly, but the 2024 investment performance for the long-term pool, which is what our endowment fund is in, was plus 9.7%, which was reasonable. Because we're not all stocks, we have bonds, we have other things in there too. So that was reasonable. It's hard to get at that number from our numbers because we had so much in and out. But, you know, we started the year at 167,514, added 5,000 from the Friends. And then took out that distribution of 72,080, which went to the capital fund, which Laura now holds on to, and Aaron. And then there was an investment performance after fees of a positive 13,140. So our balance at the end of December was 113,573. So that's where we stand now. The other piece of good news is that you may recall that endowment accounts, they give an annual distribution. And we have ours set on automatically reinvested, which is how that 72,000 built up. So that annual distribution was calculated and is now in our account of $7,529. So we can leave the $7,529 there. We can take it out and put it into the capital fund. That's up to, I guess, board, what we want to do with it. The one thing that actually worked in our favor is that when they calculate that, the 5% off of a year-end value, they smooth it over 3 years. So that if the market goes like this, people who are dependent on that annual amount,
Watch your step. Cord.
people who are dependent on the annual amount, they won't see like spikes and, they can have a more consistent number.
Mhm.
So if anybody actually took the 113,573 and multiplied it by 5%, they would see that, wow, we got a lot more than that. And it's because our, for 3 years or 2 years, our balance was here and now it's here, but you average that.
Mhm.
So we got, 7,549 versus if it was a straight 5% off of our ending value for 24, it only would have been 5,670. So that was a pleasant surprise. I kind of had forgotten about that. I'm like, oh, how come our number's so much higher? And that's because they smoothed that over 3 years. It's nice.
So we have both the option to receive this distribution rather than reinvesting it. And we have do we have an opportunity to stop the automatic redepositing?
We do. Wasn't something that we thought of last year, to do that, but this was kind of like a welcome surprise. And, oh, that's right, we get this money. So it has been reinvested. It is in that because we are on automatic reinvesting. But we can put in a request for the Vermont Community Foundation to disperse that to us in a check that hopefully won't get lost. But if it does, it's much smaller. And then we could change from automatic reinvestment to cut us a check every year, if that's what we choose to do. But, it doesn't really matter. I guess getting a check is slightly easier than calling up and saying, send us a check.
Right.
Either way.
Because the money can be more immediately available to the library and it saves us the stuff.
And where is it making better interest?
In the Vermont Community Foundation.
So we should leave it there.
Except there's a base that is automatically gaining interest. So
Right,
yeah.
right, but
yeah.
that is added to the base, so.
Mhm.
So, the thing is, you can never time the market, right? I mean, the market's done well for the last couple of years, but, right now it's like, so. You can't bank on that $7,549, remaining 7,000 could become 6,000, right?
Mhm.
Proportion.
Mhm.
We can always get that amount out though. Like, they're not gonna change that 7,000.
Right.
Oh, that's last year's.
Yeah, that's
set
last
amount.
year's, it's there, it's like you go into the software and it says reinvested distributions, used to say 72,080, then it said 0. And now it says 7,520. So that stays there, as they don't change the amount that you can withdraw, but certainly it fluctuates as part of the whole account fluctuate.
But what fluctuates is that $113,000. Okay.
I mean, technically also the 7,529, because that's inside of that 113.
Mhm.
So.
Oh, yeah, right.
It fluctuates with it, but they're not going to say, oh, the market's down, you don't get 7,529, now you only get 5,000, they're not gonna do that. So, sorry, kind of probably confusing point that didn't need to really be made, is that it's invested as part of everything,
Mhm.
but we can still go in and grab that amount of money, even if our whole account has like crashed with the market, we can go in and get that 7,520.
So if we choose to take it out, what exactly would we do?
We would put it, I would assume, into the capital fund.
That would be my
That's a good-
recommendation.
Yeah. But we had some.
That we do that.
That we,
And
Yeah.
yes, that would be what we would do with it. And my recommendation is that we discuss moving it to the capital fund. Because we're moving along with the steps for recapitalization and making that available to the library to pay for those steps is important. It'll do more good for us in the long run if we're able to pay for those steps that will
What's
present a
happening?
plan to the town.
Where are we, do we know the balance of that? like what we have left in the capital improvement fund?
It was 80,000 as of
Yeah, okay.
February's meeting, and I don't know if the money's been taken out for phase one yet. It was like 7,000 something.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I didn't get an answer from Laura, so.
So this would bring us back up to 80.
Yeah.
Presumably.
I think that first phase was like 7,500 or something.
Yeah.
The more that we have available, the smoother, the speedier the process can go. So,
I think too, in terms of where does it make more money? This 80,000 is part of the general fund for the town, and the general fund for the town is invested in 90-day treasury bonds, securities, which is making 4% a year, which is pretty good.
And maybe
So-
safer,
What's that?
maybe safer now.
Yeah.
It's much safer.
And then, yes, I mean, that's why town technically can't invest. in
Oh,
the
riskier
Vermont
things,
Because it's
yeah.
riskier
Totally
things,
makes sense.
right? So, as a portion of the overall general fund, that 80,000 we'll get like credit at the end of the year, say 4% or whatever. Because Laura said they don't divvy out in earnings on a monthly or quarterly basis, they just do it at the end of the year. So she said, at the end of the year, you'll see, earnings come into your capital account.
so although it is happening on a 90-day term, the town looks at it as an annually.
And there's actually a lot of money that they invest,
Mhm.
because there's a lot of money that's in a holding pattern, waiting for things to happen.
Okay, yeah.
Right, and so they invest that, which makes sense. But they invest it in treasury bonds, which are
Mhm.
much safer than the stock market.
Having those funds in that recapitalization, having the VCF distribution in that recapitalization fund is very much in line with our responsibility to following town guidelines of how money should be invested, and it makes it more available to the library for these steps for the recapitalization. So I'm interested if anyone has any opposition to that idea that we could discuss. Or,
Wish we know, I wish we knew, and I understand why we can't, what that cost is gonna be total.
Like an estimate, but I get what.
Yeah, I remember that conversation, just a frustration, I love to plan with my money.
Yeah.
yeah.
Before we go there, I just wanted to make a couple more comments. You guys, this is the statement from the Vermont Community Foundation, which was in my report. You'll see the spending policy calculation is at 7,529. Why we need to call it a spending policy, a spending rate, an annual distribution and income? Probably could make it easier just calling it an annual distribution, because all four of those things mean the same. So it just gets confusing. And it
We're
says,
glad you know those details.
yeah, and it says on, our official thing, it says spending rate 5% reinvested on that. Something that we can change. And then I did the Tony chart
Well, thank you.
that showed,
Named after.
going up over time, market reduction, and then boom, now we're down here because we took that 72,000.
Mhm.
And that's what the two numbers circled are. They show when that big reduction came through.
Very pretty.
And I don't do this, I cut and paste it, like this is on the software that Vermont Community Foundation uses, generates this. I
Oh,
just,
take the credit, come on.
it took me a long time to do this. I hope that Tony especially is appreciative.
I am. The blisters on her finger, for crying out loud.
And then the last page was the performance of the Vermont Community Foundation over time. You can see, we're in the long-term pool, but there's also midterm pool, market index, et cetera. And you can see over time, and if you look at up, down, it matches that. This graph of variations over time with how the market has performed. So that's it. The only other thing was the reserve fund for capital improvements, which Brent already asked about, which I don't have a refresh number, but if it will probably be down like 7,500, and then bring this 7,500 in from the VCF, then we'll be right back where we were. At 80.
Any other discussion? Um. I'll make a motion to accept Carol's report.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do I need to do this as a new agenda item, do you think, or can I just make additional motions now? Point of order. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to withdraw the VCF annual distribution or deposit into the recapitalization fund.
Second.
Any discussion or
Mhm.
any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Do you want a minute to type?
Just, yeah, give me a second. You can catch
And
up.
just a caveat that Vermont Community Foundation was going through a software upgrade, but they just said, oops, no, we're not. This has happened before. So I'm not sure, like, if it was going to happen in the beginning of April, I couldn't ask for this money right now because I missed timing to ask for it, but I don't know if that'll change. I might not be able to have the money dispersed to us until April, well into April.
Just let me know when, and look for the check, please.
Yes.
I have another motion. You tell me when you're ready to type.
Yes, the, trying to find, what are we calling that?
Recapitalization?
Recapitalization. Is that what it is?
Yes, recapitalization fund.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to empower Carol, to have Carol change our VCF settings from automatically reinvesting the annual redistribution.
You're having check issue.
Having a check
That's the other.
issued
Yeah.
annually. Is there a second?
Second that.
Any discussion?
Are you thinking that that just eliminates an extra step?
Yeah,
We could always put it back in.
exactly.
Right.
Yes,
right.
yes.
Yeah.
This is, the plan is a multi-year process,
Mhm.
so we will
Right.
need to do that. Yeah, it makes it more available to the library. All in
Say it again, just.
motion to have Carol change
Yeah.
our VCF settings from automatically reinvesting
Mhm.
the annual distribution.
Yeah.
And issuing, I
Tuition.
don't even know if you have to say that
That's
part.
the part I wanted to.
Yeah,
To issue a
To-
check.
yeah.
Distribution check.
to issuing
A
a
distribution check.
distribution check
To.
to the library.
To the town.
Yeah, for the town, for the library.
I mean, they'll send it like, they sent the other one, which is. They said Burnham Library / Town of Colchester.
Perfect. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. All right, thank you for that.
Did you need some of the second?
I did.
We had one, yeah, and then we discussed. Okay,
Was trying to get you to it.
You did.
I did. It doesn't happen very often.
next, library director's report.
I got to do baby story time, which was oh so fun. We're working on getting the Niche Academy up and running, on our website, so that's been fun. Lots of local meetings. I met with a board member from the Chittenden Asylum Seekers Assistance Network. And, she and someone else is gonna come the beginning of May to talk about, a presentation about the work that they do, and they're hoping to be able to bring one or two of their past clients who now has their green card. But I think it's the first Wednesday that they'll be here, so. And then if that goes well, I'll share the information with other libraries in the county, and we'll try to kind of get them on the speaker circuit. The new hours went into effect on Monday, and we're getting lots of people coming in earlier. They seem to like that. We've already had to restock our seed library, which is good. Lots of programs. We've got a lot of the online speaker series coming up. There's some pretty big names. And Meg's been doing some great work with the teams. They're going to be getting two new little free libraries. One is a replacement, one is going to be a new one. They're going to build and paint, and then Parks will install. They also cooked a meal for Spectrum.
Good for them.
Yeah.
That's a great.
And Meg has been attending the Gather book discussions that they're having over at the high school.
Oh, great.
We received a grant from Vermont Humanities to do like a summer camp here. So we're going to be doing a writer's summer camp for middle schoolers. So Hannah's working on that. Sophie's been busy. She's been having us, the adult staff meet monthly to talk about programming and things working well. To get all that worked out. Alicia's created some fabulous displays. If you haven't seen them downstairs, I would say go take a look. She's getting much more comfortable at story times, and she's starting a new graphic novel book group that's going to premiere on Thursday next month. And Pam is trying to get in touch with a new daycare, little learners. She's been trying to get in touch with them to see if they would like services from us. Mary's continuing to heal, and
I love that point about she's being a good patient. She's
She is,
doing
and-
her PT exercises.
well, I get on her every day because I'm like, she's just like, no, I'm
Yeah.
doing. And her fingers are starting to have a more natural color before they
Oh.
they were wax.
Yeah.
It was
yeah, yeah,
really
yeah.
weird.
I saw her
Um,
when I was getting these books, she's, in the split, but clearly protecting.
Well, she's good because she's keeping, like, she has her pillow and she keeps it up there because, like, when I broke my leg, I was supposed to keep my leg
Oh,
up.
yeah, forget that.
And I never
No.
did, and it was like purple and swollen and just her, she has like no bruising, like I make her take it off so I can look at it. There's like no bruising.
There shouldn't
It's
be any
like-
more. It's been long
Oh,
enough.
please, I had it for like 6 weeks. It was. Cause it was there, it was down here. I'm
And you get
walking
the
around.
cast off and
Yeah.
then dead skin comes off. It's
Oh,
so
all
disgusting.
right.
But anyways,
No,
Order.
that's based on personal
Order.
experience. I didn't know it as a doctor.
so she's doing good, but, and there's a glitch, there's a couple glitches that go on right now, but the one that's most annoying for Jess is that, we can't run inventory
Mhm.
reports, so. Other than that. We had a lot of tech sessions while Mary was out. One, I had to ask Hannah for help because this woman brought in a very old, it was a Nook, some type of
Mm.
tablet.
Probably
type
doesn't even
thing.
work
Just
anymore.
didn't-
Well, it was like 6 or 7 years old, and like, I didn't even remember how to use it. First of all, I had to ask her how to use it, but we couldn't get it to upload the thing from her husband's Amazon account to her device. Oh, it's a Kindle, to her device. And so I tried for a couple of minutes, and then I'm just like, I'm gonna pull Hannah in because she can do the back part of overdrive. You know what I mean, like, she has all the authority to do that. And I'm like, maybe she'll see something back there that I don't. She worked with the woman for over an hour and could not get it sorted out. But
That's exactly what I was talking about, though, the tech thing. So if Becky needs help with the
Oh, yeah.
tech thing.
So, but while
something
Mary was
great.
gone, like, we
Yeah,
had all kinds.
You
it
were
was
all,
just
oh
like-
no, of course.
So, our dog visits are staying the same. Some of our book things have gone down a little bit in the children's area, but I think it's because we're reading, which is fine. It's good that we're reading. But other than that, everything's good. I'll do this later because it's later in the agenda.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
page near the budget is related to our new business item of the strategic plan quarterly update. So if there's questions for Kelly about her report aside from the strategic plan, please go ahead.
I just noticed last month that you had dogs and a cat. I was wondering how a cat visits.
The cat's my cat.
Oh.
And he's very sick, and so he has to go to the vet a lot. And because I live far away, I just bring him in with me so that I don't have to go all the way home to get him. But he's very gregarious, and so while he's here, like, before we open, he just walks around and says hello to everybody and checks everything out, and, but he has.
He checks everything out. Well, I'm surprised the shelves still
Uh-huh.
have books on.
He has IBS and chronic pancreatitis.
Oh.
And, so he's lost a lot of weight, and he's, like, I give him vitamin B shots once a month, and he has all these medications to help with his nausea and vomiting, and it's just, but like, for the most part, he's happy, like, he likes to cuddle, and he still likes to play, and, you know, the vet's like, as long as he still likes to do that, and I'm just like, we get to a dinner, there's not gonna be anything left of him.
Puddle.
So,
Is
but
he, how old is he?
13. So, but he actually likes coming in here, and, you know, he goes around and says hello to everybody, and so I feel like we have to work.
Yes, that's, I love that.
But there's when I'm at the desk or anything, I put him in my office and close the door, so we'll just sit at the door and watch everybody, and there's a sign that says don't let him out. Because he just, like, he doesn't go out at our house, like, you can leave the door wide open and he won't go outside. But I don't know if he wouldn't follow somebody out
Mhm.
here, like,
Yeah.
you know, here, pick me up and do, so. Yeah. So that was no.
You had mentioned the program on the early release day. And I wanted you to know the new school district calendar is out for the coming year, and there is a small adjustment with when they're placing those early release days. They're kind of spreading them out again, but that's available for your youth staff.
Okay, I know that.
Any other questions for Kelly? Sue, would you like to share any additional news from the Friends?
Not really, everything's smooth. We don't have any big activities now that the annual appeal is done for a while, so things are quiet.
And I think we all have the dates for the
The
book sale
Sale dates are,
available. It's around the 27th that
Right.
weekend-ish.
I
Yeah.
really don't remember.
Okay.
Without looking at the calendar, just.
I have it.
Hasn't been part of the calendar. Friday the 27th.
Yeah.
was the
yeah,
start.
whatever the
Okay.
Friday is, yeah.
Let's pop that back into the minutes so that it's for the hordes of people who are looking through clerk base.
They has,
Mhm.
they'll start
Yeah.
calling soon and asking us, when can we start dropping off
Right.
books?"
So June, so the sale itself,
Yeah, you're like, oh God,
27,
the
28.
books.
So many.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're signing up again.
That'll be a bit-
If you can recruit a couple other men.
Couple other,
I mean,
we'll see.
it always is done, I think everyone.
Yeah, it gets done, but you hate to exhaust people.
I know, like I
Yeah.
changed my back doing it last
Yeah.
year, so I'm not gonna wanna be like, yeah, I'll do that. All of the books out of the car.
Any, well, thank you very much again for being here and for your news. Any reports from committees or board members? The note here about National Library Week, April 6th through 12th.
Where could we talk about the executive order?
Maybe
Just go.
in new business,
New business,
Okay.
thing?
Yeah. because we keep other open for things
Okay.
like that.
Mhm.
Totally. There was a response, if you saw from the
Got one right
a
there.
partial response from the state librarian as
I do
well.
have one.
So we probably maybe at end of new business, talk about the executive order.
Oh, and I have something on it too.
Okay. I will just mention now in case we do run into time, the bylaws review is, oh no, that comes under new business. Never mind. Okay. Any other reports from board members? Okay, moving on to old business, revisions from the materials selection policy. Are there any additional feedback? This version that we have is based on the feedback from the last meeting.
I don't have any feedback, but I have a question. Why are we adding in the reflects commitment to intellectual freedom, compliance, with First Amendment? What was the? I'm not disagreeing.
No,
with it.
you weren't at the meeting, yeah.
Yeah.
There was some language in the model that the State Department of Libraries created. They were charged by the legislature through Act 250 to create some model policies, including this one. And Kelly and I compared it with our own, and we thought that language was lacking from our current policy and was important to add. I believe. Is that right?
It's just making it a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
Statement.
Okay. Just saying we're backed by these.
Being very
um,
explicit.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you send out a copy of the change?
Yes,
changes
it was
with
with the
this?
agenda.
Okay. I haven't gone back that far email after not having a computer. for it.
It's, everything that we asked Kelly to do, she did, so.
Any other discussion? I'll make a motion to accept the revisions to the material selection policy.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right, where am I? Next, old business, staff appreciation. Any thoughts? We're turning to a event around a meal, perhaps a dinner that we could put together for the staff and their families.
And this is for, during the time of the National Library Week, or?
My suggestion was to potentially do it during that. It's coming up rather quickly. But we could often in the past, prior to the pandemic, it was generally held in the fall.
Oh,
So just some thoughts. Would we like to try to do something and we can discuss offline what we're doing do something in April or push it further out in the year, or continue with giving a token of appreciation instead of returning to a social event?
so the social event would replace the gifts.
Like they do it outside.
And the social event is what it was prior to the pandemic.
It's a great way to get to know people.
I think it'd be nice, although I say that fully declaring I have no culinary skills.
I'll second the motion. on that.
Seltzer is a crucial part of any meal.
That's right. Well, if Steve can grill, but yeah,
Oh, he really can.
he really can grill, but
And I have some new rubs from Charleston for you,
there you go.
for Savannah.
Any thoughts, preferences, what people would like to do?
Is there anything that you think the staff would prefer? Would they prefer an event or a gift, or is any appreciation welcome?
I think any appreciation is welcome. I know the staff prior used to really like, the dinner and getting together. This is a whole new staff, so,
Break them in.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was new. I was just on the board,
That year.
before the pandemic,
Yeah.
so it was really to see everybody and get to know some names and faces more. I found it useful as a board member. So.
Shall we continue this offline or online technically? Just over email and discuss potential dates with Kelly and the staff and some ideas?
Sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, I think April is like, yeah, we're not gonna make that happen.
It's coming quickly.
Yeah, because it's like 2 weeks away.
Okay,
At the end of April, isn't
I'm gone.
true,
True.
true. Okay,
No, not really. And I don't cook that great anyway.
it? Yeah, but you may want to be here. Can I back up just one moment?
yes, ma'am.
Who seconded Tony's move to approve the changes to the material selection policy?
Carol.
Yep.
I'll go slower so that we.
No,
catch it
no,
up.
it's just, there's been, often there's not much going, than today, there are lots of things to add in. Good.
You have jet lag. so.
Any other
I'm
old
good with
business?
it.
New business, having met Alicia, moving to the strategic plan quarterly update. So as you can see from Kelly's document, these are points that are taken from the strategic plan that have been reached in the past 6 months-ish, quarter.
So the initial evaluation of the conditions for the 2 buildings, have been done. The results are inconsequential. We didn't find out anything that we didn't already know, but felt that it was important to kind of do that step before we spent more money to, you know, kind of do the deep dive. And we feel that both of them are necessary when you're gonna be spending, a lot of, it's not really taxpayer dollars, but eventually it will be like money from the lot, so it's basically checking all the boxes and following the steps, so, that's what they're working on now, is, getting contractors to go in and do the deep dive. And our boss is, doing well.
I love that acronym.
Thank you.
Those are
Burnham
available
Online Speaker
online
Series.
Afterwards.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah, there's a couple I've watched.
and you can
Yeah.
go back for even before we got the subscription.
Oh, that's cool.
If
Nice.
people are attending one that is happening live, like the Jody Call one that's
Mhm.
coming up, is that set up so that they can submit questions or,
Mhm.
okay.
Mhm.
so
It says on
April 2nd, maybe?
Kelly's report. I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, the internet.
And Porter's Point students are coming in May, and we're doing it over 2 days this year instead of just one, because last year it was like
Too many. Yeah.
all hands on deck, and it was just like, you know, it was, so it's getting broken up over 2 days this year. Susan had started, I had started reaching out to Holy Cross when we were actually planning the strategic plan, collecting information, and then Susan had reached out, for a couple of programs. And now, Sophie's continuing, and she's gonna try to do, a program a month there. So, we're doing that. We're working on,
I think it was a success.
Yeah.
Yes.
we're working on, redoing cross-training. We used to have everybody cross-trained in positions, and everyone's switched or moved or, you know, whatever, so we have to do that again. And, as I said, I don't know how they pronounce their acronym, but
Cassan.
the same
Thing.
thing are, coming in May, so. Are there any questions about that? Oh, another thing that I would like to do with this about sharing information and collaborating. Shabnam, if we could talk about, you and, Meg working together, to get some library information in the younger grades newsletters, that would be awesome.
Okay, yeah. I recently had my NHS meeting and we were talking about volunteering opportunities as well, but in terms of the younger grades, I could talk to Miss Minor as well to push out a newsletter.
Okay.
Right, because the compass just came out, the
Yeah,
district
like
one.
it.
Yes.
I had a question, Kelly, on the results are inconsequential.
Mhm.
So basically, it was an independent verification of what you guys
Right.
already knew,
Yeah.
basically, but
Yeah.
I agree with you, you have to do that. You
Yeah.
have to say, hey, we actually asked independent people to look at the buildings and tell us, you know, what they see versus what we
Right,
see.
yeah.
What type of stuff is known about these two buildings?
Can you start with condition?
Like the HVAC over there needs, a pretty good overhaul. All the windows need to be replaced pretty much in both buildings. The cupola, barring being removed, because it's not original to the building, needs, some significant
Interesting.
work.
What does?
The cupola is not.
Oh, the cupola was there and the add-on,
Yeah, I wanted to make it look more authentic.
like a church.
Like a church.
How's the elevator?
It works fine for the most part. You have anything of other things that was on there? This roof, the slate roof needs to be replaced here, but it's like almost impossible to find somebody that will install slate roofs.
Is that the major reason that there are that it leaks consistently, or is that?
No, that's
related
where
to
it
HVAC?
leaks is where the two buildings join.
Okay,
And so, it's not
Yes.
it's not where the slate is. But, and this building, because it's on the historic registry, which I don't know why it's on the historic registry.
This one is.
Cause it was built in 1941. It has to be kept slate. And so it can't be made something that looks like slate, or, it's gotta be kept the way it is. There were a number of things that, as far as just like general maintenance type things that, would have needed to be done, the outside, the whole front entryway, that thing
Mhm.
needs to be
yeah,
removed and replaced. The stairs there, they've tried to repair those, several times, and those all need to be pulled out and rebuilt.
Stairs over there, was there a problem?
No.
a little
those are-
saggy.
Yeah, I mean, but those are cheap to replace, cause that's just wood.
Was-
The cement is what's hard.
Was the scope of this merely the state of the buildings, or and is the next phase about community needs, including like what's the ideal square footage of?
No, we're
Meeting
not there
space?
yet.
Okay,
It's more, this was kind of like an overall thing. What we're doing now is getting specific contractors to come in and look at their specific systems to say,
Oh, okay,
you know what I mean?
life,
Like the
Yeah.
fact that over at the meeting house right now, there's only one thermostat. So you can only be like this time of year, you can only be in one floor. The other floor is either freezing cold or you're sweating. Because there's only one zone. So like you need to.
Mhm.
Yeah, it sure does.
And so like that's something that unless you're an HVAC person, that would automatically come right in there and be like, well, why was this building set up this way? Well, apparently at some point they were trying to save money.
Mhm.
But the other floor is uninhabitable. So that's something that they would come in and recognize right away and say,
yeah.
this needs to be done. This is how much it would cost to do that.
Did they provide the town with any sort of estimate of cost for maybe not that specific thing, but for maintaining the buildings in their current state?
They did, but I don't think they're very accurate. That's all another reason why you want to bring in the specific contractors of the fields. Because, like they had done one for like internal painting. And I don't remember exactly. The numbers are gonna be wrong, but say they said it was like $5,000 to paint the inside of, the library here.
Mhm.
And the police just opened up a bid. And like I said, the numbers could be wrong, but the gap is what's accurate. It was like $100,000. So like that's how far off their estimate was of what the actual market value is now, what people are charging for it.
And is phase 2 going to include that type of
Yes.
calculation?
Yes.
So this is phase 2 of part 1?
Yeah.
Okay, because phase 2, that's
Oh,
like
yeah.
over the next
point.
30 years.
Yeah.
Neat, okay, so this is, because this is a lot of detail, right?
Yeah.
Exterior elements, building envelope, floors, insulation, interior elements, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So you just had somebody come in and kind of do a sweep through.
Yeah.
And now you're gonna have somebody else come in and say, yeah, if we really did that, this is what it would cost.
Yeah. Yeah, to make it, like I said, actual usable. To make the investment worthwhile for the next 30 years,
Mhm.
basically. Like right now, we're just putting Band-Aids on.
Right.
But if we're gonna spend money on it, this is how much we have to spend to make the 30-year investment worthwhile. So
Did they say anything about the roof over there? Is that okay?
that one's been replaced, within the last few years, I believe.
I remember they had a leak, like shingles fell off, they had a leak and that, and then the elevator shaft and you couldn't do the elevator. so-
Yeah, that was just fixed in the back, yeah, that was just fixed in the back, so They also had one where the cupola was where they had these big 55-gallon drums underneath it to catch the water because that was how big they needed. That's why I don't, the cupola was a big mistake. Whoever thought that
Dog visit.
was
Once a month.
a good idea. It's probably Winston.
These are people's right there, dogs.
So,
It is Winston.
so the other
Hi,
part,
Winston.
the other part of this is you're gonna come up with all this detail and how much, and then someone else would say, and this is what a new one would cost? Like somewhere we're gonna get a
Yeah.
comparison.
Yeah.
And is that phase what? 3?
There's 4 phases, right?
Do we have the copies of this somewhere?
This is the note that Kelly had
Okay,
sent.
I
'Cause
probably
was
have
trying
it
to
then,
remember
but I'm
what
sure
was
I
what.
have
This
it.
is
I
the
can-
memo.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else under.
Yeah, because I was trying to remember, what are the phases?
So once we get those more realistic estimates, cost estimates and stuff, then it's when you look at the next, what do we need kind of like for the community and stuff like that. That's, we start looking at the bigger picture.
Current future spatial needs.
Mhm.
And they'll come in and they'll say that we need
More
this
space.
much space, but it's gonna cost way more money than we could ever get, so
Mhm.
you gotta scale it. But it's the process. But eventually it gets there, and hopefully it gets there in less than 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Any questions?
Thank you for supplying that.
Next one will be in June.
Yes. We'll do it on the months divisible by 3. Those will be our quarterly updates.
Never thought of it that way, but
It's a bold one.
Works for me. It's my brain. The
What
next,
about Leora? She's gonna have a challenge with that.
the next item of new business is just a reminder that we review the bylaws in April. Because I have a note of an absence in April, is that still
Yes.
happening?
Yes.
That we will carry over the conversation into May so that Carol can be part of that discussion. Because any changes do need to include all the full board, exactly. So we will begin our discussion and then fill you in with some real detailed notes, right? Real detailed minutes.
Okay.
She knows. Any comments or any questions about the bylaws? I believe we have them on the website, maybe not. Okay. So if you're looking for the most up-to-date copy, that's where
And
you'll
the
find it.
policies, as we approve them, go on to the website.
Most of them, yes.
There are some that are not public facing, so those would not be online.
And we will give them to, procedures aren't, but some policies, if necessary, we give them to people, but some they're just. It's not stuff that people typically. ask for, but yeah, the rest of them.
Kelly, what happened with the upgrade of the website for the town? Is that like happening? Oh, okay. Because it was so nice for the library, it had little
We
icons.
worked very hard, can we finish business and then I'll.
Yeah, definitely. Any other new business? Did you want to speak
Kelly had
about?
something to talk about with the executive order last week.
Oh,
Yeah.
if you would like to stay up to date on, the executive order and how you can be active with it, you can go to a website, it's called saveimls.org.
Say that again, save.
imls.org,
Okay.
and they'll give you updates, on what's going on and what you can do to, you know, who to contact, petitions to sign, like all that type of stuff,
Mhm.
so.
And what is that?
It's, John, how do you pronounce his last name?
You
I don't
asking
know.
what the executive order was?
Yeah.
There was an
Oh.
executive order from the president, on continuing the reduction of federal bureaucracy, including, minimizing the presence and function, I think would be the term of, several things like the Woodrow Wilson International Center for Scholars at the Smithsonian, the Institute of Museum and Library Science, the Community Development Financial Institution Funds, several things, including things that relate to funding for Vermont libraries.
Yes, and every library, which is a, what's the word I'm looking for?
Municipality Incorporated.
No, they give them money and they help with political stuff.
Huh?
Yeah,
Lobbyist.
lobbyists, they're like a lobbyist type of thing.
Okay.
And they will help libraries who like have budget votes and stuff like that. They will help them for free if they can't afford it type of stuff. They are the ones that have this website and are working very diligently to fight things that are being banned and all the stuff that's going on with the current
Administration.
yes, thank you.
Mhm.
I was thinking legislation, I'm like, I know that's not the right
No.
word.
So many words. So much to do.
Kelly, I think last time you said the federal funding was pretty small.
Yeah, it's not, well, what this is, the new EO is probably going to, could affect, the state library and the Department of Libraries. Or nothing.
It's, it's the IMLS grants to the State Department of Libraries comprises approximately 30% of their annual budget. So for them,
Yeah,
Which promotes continuing education for you guys, which helps. Okay.
no,
Yeah,
it does, it helps a lot of the smaller libraries.
Mhm.
It, I don't think it'll have a huge impact on us, but that's not the point. The point
Right.
is,
Right.
it's the overarching,
Mhm.
Yeah.
so,
I was wondering what they were gonna do with some of the Smithsonian stuff in particular. Yeah, right.
There was a message, I don't know if it was from the Department of Libraries, but I think I sent it to the trustees. I might have left you out, Shabnam.
You did.
And it was for, it was an ALA website for a call to action so that you could write with one
Did it.
letter to all of our representatives,
I sent it
all of
to
our
you.
delegation, to let them know your opinion on this. So that was one advocacy opportunity. Any other questions about this? Okay. Any other new business? Okay, the next meeting will be April 17th at 4 p.m. And I will press
You know.
end meeting.